Hi there, I'm Eric Wordweaver Sjerven, Gothi of the Ridgar folk here in East Texas, and I would like to welcome you to the Raven's Call. This is a show where I ramble on about different heathen-related subjects, just kind of whatever strikes my fancy, sets my mind on fire at the time. Big UPG warning at the beginning of these episodes, like always. This is just one heathen's viewpoints here in East Texas, one Gothi of his tribe, and the views represented herein do not reflect any kind of overall heathenry as far as, the end-all be-all of anything. They may not even necessarily reflect the views of the rest of my tribe. It just depends. Everybody has their own views and their own insights, and I value that highly. So the intention of these videos is simply to be a conversation starter. Hopefully you will find something interesting herein that will help you think and look forward and help grow your own heathenry and your own viewpoints. So all my contact information is down below, as always. So if you guys want to send me an email, hit me up with comments in the sections below, or hit the Facebook group. I do take show recommendations and requests from that. A lot of times I'll answer questions here on the air that I get on requests, and I very much enjoy that. That's one of my favorite things to do. Just in case you guys didn't know, I had one of the comments last week say that I really should do a podcast because of my voice, etc., etc. And this kind of is my podcast. I do the videos because I can be both on YouTube and in audio form. There is an audio podcast version of these videos out. I'm getting better about being able to keep these up to date. I got behind heavily by about a month or so, maybe more, because of the shutdown procedures up there at work and then just trying to find my new normal here. But I did get everything updated on there, so they're all up there now. I'm going to try and get this one up in a timely fashion, provided that I can get that editing and whatnot done today. I've left myself like 0 edit time to get this video up. So you guys can check that out. I have toyed with the idea of doing like a talk show kind of thing before, but that requires a dedication of time that I don't always have. I would like to do some more audio type stuff for the podcast version. I have yet to decide exactly what that would look like or how I would make that work. So I'm going to toy with it further and see what else I can come up with. Try and expand some of the ideas on what I'm going to do with the channel itself. And I'll keep you guys updated as I get those things going forward. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's subject. Now today I want to talk about heathens and voting. Because I went and voted today, and that's, it's on my mind. So I thought I'd go ahead and talk about it. I intend to do a video. I'm still going to come back and do the Frith Weaver video that we were talking about before. And I plan on doing maybe a little standalone thing on the Wild Hunt. I know I've gotten some requests for Wild Hunt stuff. Some of my past Yule specials have touched on the Wild Hunt. It wasn't like the main focus of the video, but it's in there. So if you want a little bit of something, that's there. And then I can go and dig up and do some more specific stuff here over time. But for the time being, I want to talk about voting today because it's that time of year, guys. It is the time of year where we have a big presidential election coming. Plus, we've got a ton of other elections going on. And this is a thing. I'm not going to back any particular political party on the channel. Okay, guys, I have my personal political views. I do not share those on the channel because that's not what the channel is about. This isn't about pushing one party, the other, or third party, or whatever. This is about encouraging heathens to get out there and vote because #we are our deeds. Now, I posted up a picture today from when I went and voted, and this will go live tomorrow, so you guys will have seen it already if you look at the channel and whatnot, the Facebook group. And I've tried to push this #heathens vote. I know I'm not the only one pushing it, but I'm trying to push that. So when you guys go out, hit that #heathens vote because this is an important thing. This is us participating in the system. And there's a lot of back and forth about whether or not your vote counts, etc., etc., etc. The votes count. The Electoral College is set up in such a way that our votes are informative. They are part of the process. It's not a perfect system by any means. We are a a republic, which is a rule by representation. And so there's some debate as to the efficacy of the Electoral College and other things like that. That's not the point. The point is, guys, this is our chance to be involved. This is our chance to have our voices heard and to make a presence known. Heathens across the world are growing in number, and we're becoming more and more prevalent in society. There has been a large upsurgence in heathenry in the most recent years. We saw a big uptick of it after the Vikings TV show came out, because people were all of a sudden, hey, I'm interested in all that. Now, of course, 80% of that is brosatru that's just coming to it and being like, I am a Viking, look at me. Meh, you guys know how I stand on that. But, and I know Brandon just squeed when I said brosatru, because that's like his favorite word in the world. He loves to rag on brosatru, because it's hilarious. And, but there's a lot of superficiality to it, and awareness is a thing. You know, I am not one that's like, hey, we need to go out and necessarily grow heathenry in a large way. It's not, it's not a quantity thing. It is definitely a quality thing. But visibility does allow those individuals that are genuinely interested in heathenry to find other heathens and to know that it really is a thing. We really are out here doing heathenry and that we are existing. So visibility is a good thing. Not to mention, there's not a lot of heathen representation in politics in general. A lot of that goes to the more mainstream popularized stuff, and that doesn't always jive with heathen morality or with any in particular heathen's views. So the more we can be involved, the more we can make America something that we can deal with as heathens and have a place in. So I highly encourage, regardless of what your political affiliations are, regardless of what your views are, get out there and let your voice be heard. One of the things that I like to tout heavily on the channel is we are our deeds. And that's another hashtag that I put up there with the picture, hashtag we are our deeds. Because the future belongs to the doers. Legends are written about the doers. History is made by the doers. Those are the ones that are remembered. It is better to be a doer than not. If you look at the book We Are Our Deeds by Eric Wodening, you will find that one of the linguistic patterns noticed in Northern European, Proto-Indo-European linguistics is there are certain dichotomies that are prevalent, values that are reflected through the use of particular vernacular, and the vernacular largely favors action over inaction. Doing, even if it's not necessarily the right thing, doing something is better than doing nothing. In most cases. Sometimes the choice to abstain is doing something. It is the active choice of not participating in something that you find to be immoral and out of the way, out of your mindset, out of your particular morality. But this is a season where doing is necessary. We can talk all day long about rhetoric online. We can talk all day long about our views, about this, that, and the other. But it's time to get out there and let your vote be heard. Let people hear you. Let people see you. Be that heathen that steps out and votes. And then let people know. There's a big... People get tired of the I voted pictures online. But it does create awareness. It does allow people to see that you have voted. It allows people to see that people are actually out there doing. And that will spur some people on. It won't spur all people on, but it'll spur some people on. And I think the last statistic I heard was something like projected voter turnout this year was something like 65%. Guys, that's not a that's not a great number, okay, as far as actual representation of the population. So get out there and vote. Let people know let the government at least know what your vote is. Now, of course, this is all tailored to America, but it doesn't have to be. This is spurned on because America's going through our electorate process right now, where we're trying to elect our next president. And we see a greater voter turnout during presidential elections than we do with any others, largely because of awareness. A lot of the other smaller elections go unnoticed because they do not get the attention that a presidential election does. There's a lot of money thrown at advertising for the election. There's a lot of attempts to sway voters through the election. So I highly recommend people educate yourselves on what's out there, make a decision. And how does this pertain to heathens? Well, stay true to your heathen values. You know your heathen values. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what they are because they're yours. They're not mine. I have mine. And I have my tribal values. I have my hearth values. And they mean something to me. And I have taken that intent and made it actionable by going out and casting my vote. And I encourage all of you to do the same. This is an era where we need to do things. We need to be those individuals that are writing history, because this is a founding period for heathens in general. Generations from now are going to look back to the early days of heathenry and see how we handled things. And this lays the groundwork for a lot going forward. Tribes that we're building now, if they persevere and they make it, will be the tribes of the future. And we will have been the founding members of those tribes. We will be the founding ideals of those tribes. We will be those individuals that did something. And our actions will echo through history, through the survival of our tribes and our clans. The thu that we set, the traditions that we set now, will survive us into the future. This is a very important thing in my mind. I see it as being imperative that we do things now that set a firm grounding for future tradition, that help to build heathenry for generations to come. And I'm not worried about greater heathenry, some meta heathenry. I am worried about my heathenry. I am worried about my tribe. I want to know what's going to happen with Ridgar in the days of the future. I want to see Ridgar have a good foundation in traditions and ritual processes that will survive the test of time. I want to see good things for my tribe. I want to see my people grow. I want to see Ridgar become something that's not necessarily huge, but is strong. I want it to be a family where people can come together and back each other up and support one another, where we know when we get the tribe together that there are tribal values there that we all share in common, that it is family, that it is that frith web where trust is upheld through mutual obligation, where people are not only comfortable bringing their kids to it, but they want to bring their kids to it because they want their kids to participate, to experience heathen life and to be with other heathens and to just be heathen for a while. When you do your tribal gatherings, this is an opportunity to shut everything else out and just bask in your heathenry for a little while, you know? I know a lot of people will do like Viking games and stuff like that when they do their heathen gatherings. Cool. If that's part of your aesthetic, by all means, get in there and do it. Do what works for you and what works for your tribe. Everybody's aesthetic is going to be a little bit different. Here in Texas, there's a lot of focus on cookouts and things like that, outside games. We're outside a lot with our heathenry because it's Texas. Texas is better outside. That's just how we do things. And at least the people that I hang out with, that's how we do things. I know there's probably some more indoor-y heathens in Texas, but we don't see them as much because we're outside, doing outside things. So there's a lot of like hunting, fishing, these kind of things that are intrinsic to our kind of way of life. And utilizing traditions, building traditions around these things that are common interests, that are focuses for what matter to us, and incorporating that into our heathenry. I mean, how can you do that? Well, a great example is we're coming up on Winter Nights. Winter Nights is a harvest festival. It's the close of the harvest season. It's also right in there with hunting season. And one of the forms of harvest that we have is to harvest from the land in the form of game and meat. So if you are a hunting tribe, Winter Nights is a fantastic time to gather up and maybe bless your hunting implements and ask the gods to grant you favor in your hunt throughout the season. Some will do it at Freyfaxi as well if they participate in Freyfaxi, if they observe Freyfaxi, simply because it's early enough in the season that it catches the start of deer season and whatnot, and some of the fowl and whatnot. So fishing can be the same way. If you're a farmer, if you have a very agricultural or agrarian type tribe, then pick the times of year that are holy to you in that respect and build traditions around it. Springtime may be your bread and butter when it comes to your main blessings, because there's modern traditions that have built up around like the charming of the plow and things like that are meant to bless our working instruments as we go forward into the year and establish, good harvests and things like that. Not necessarily applicable for those that are in an urban setting or that don't participate in agrarian society, but still very important to those individuals that do. Regionalization of heathenry is going to reflect your way of doing things, your way of life. And I encourage you to go out and build those traditions and develop your heathenry your way. If you are a Texan heathen, then be Texan in your heathen. If that's part of your identification and your aesthetic, there's a good chance if you're Texan that being Texan is part of your heathenry, because Texans are a proud lot. But if whatever your region, whatever your particular approach to life, embrace that in your heathenry. Let it inform your heathenry. Let it be a part of you. Let it be you, because if it is already a part of you, if that's something that matters to you, then let it matter. Let it be a thing. Embrace that and do what is right for you and your tribe. Now, you may have views and traditions that are very different from the others in your region. That's fine too. You create a sub-region. You are your region, all right? Do not feel like you have to adhere to the heathenry of your generalized region. If you're a Texan, but you're from California or you're from up north or something, and that informs your culture, then embrace the culture that is true to you. Embrace the culture that is true to your tribe. Don't let anybody else tell you what you should be doing. You do you, and you'll be all right. Not their hall, not their call. It's your hall, your call. Build traditions. Establish things that will last and matter. Play with traditions. Do some cool arts and crafts kind of things. Explore some different kind of ideas that you may be able to embrace with your heathenry. We saw a really cool thing where during one of the seasons you can plant something and use offerings involved in the planting to bring luck to the family, and then as a family, nourish that plant as it grows, especially if it's like a tree or something like that. Embrace that and run with it. Live it, love it. And you might see some really cool things come from that. There's, like I've mentioned before on the channel during Yule, the peppermint pig, which is a really cool tradition for wishing, symbolic sacrifice. There's a lot of things that go along with that. Play with those kind of traditions. Find what works for you, regardless of the time of year. Figure out what fits your season. Figure out what fits your tribal culture, and embrace that. Be you. I'm big on tribal culture. I'm big on hearth culture because I believe that's what matters. And I really want to see people embrace the things that matter to them. So by all means, get in there, be you, and be true to yourselves. Part of that is getting out and voting. Get out there and let people hear your voice. Be a heathen. Embrace your morality. Embrace your heathen virtues. Decide for yourself what those virtues are, and then vote according to your virtues. Be a doer. Be someone that gets out there and does things. This is the future we're talking about. And it's very important that you have your voice heard, regardless of what it is you have to say. You're part of it too. Let people hear it. Now, that being said, let's keep the comments clear of political affiliations and things like that. I will strike down stuff that's pushing one party or another. That's not what this is about. I don't want division in the group about political stuff. Politics are out of it. We're not talking about politics here. We're talking about action. We're talking about hearing your voice. We're talking about getting out there and upholding your obligation to keep things running and to do your part and letting people hear your voice. So this is what I'm after. This is what I want to see. I want to see people being involved and doing. And this is a form of doing. Getting out and casting a vote is an actionable thing. This is you making good on your thoughts and your beliefs. This is you stepping out and being true to yourself and being true to your views. So embrace that. Do it. Be strong. And get at it. Because this is how it works. It doesn't work unless we all get out there and do our thing. You can complain all year long. You can bitch. You can moan. But unless you get out there and play your part and cast your vote, can you really say that you've done anything? Or are you just keyboard jockeying it? So it's up to you. It's your choice. But I do encourage. So freedom of will all the way. We're people with freedom in mind. And so with that comes the idea that you are you and you will do you. And whatever you choose to do, I wish you all good luck. And I really genuinely hope you all find happiness. So with that, I'm going to make this video short today because a little shorter runtime means more people will probably watch it, and I feel like it's a message that needs to get out there. So next week's video will probably be a little bit longer, depending on film time and things like that, whether or not the weather holds. So in the meantime, plus I need to get over there and tend my fire. It's getting going good now. So I need to throw some extra stuff on it. So in the meantime, hail to you all. Hashtag Heathens Vote. May your hearth fires burn bright. Okay, let's get situated here. Hopefully, actually, yeah, okay. Should theoretically be okay. It's a damp and kind of cool one here in East Texas today, so I am rocking the coat. Why not? Just because I can. It's not quite cool enough for it, but hey, keeps the wet off, you know? That's my primary focus with it. So, try to keep the beard up off of the microphone. I'm sure that's scratchy as hell. All right, folks, so long one, crazy one. I'm gonna move the chair because there we go. I got the camera set in like the only stable position, so I need to make it work. This is gonna be problematic, I can already tell. All right, well, I'll just try not to move too terribly much. Hopefully that will work. Microphone's pretty sensitive, so it should be able to pick it up. We shall see. I'll just make attempts not to scratch it with my beard. So, updates. Not much. Life continues on doing exactly what it was before. So, we'll see where things go. I'm still trying to pick my path, as it were. Toying with a number of different ideas and trying to help get my dad's company up off the ground. So, it's going through hard times, kind of like mine was. So, trying to go and help the family company, you know, help save the family business, as it were. So wish me luck. Hopefully that'll work out. Other than that, no new stuff on D&D. Still, we're between sessions right now. Planning our next session here pretty dang soon. Just depends on timing and everything. Adult D&D, man, it's tough, you know, when you're trying to figure out timing for sessions and appointments and things like that. So we'll see. Other than that, I mean, it was ridiculously drizzly and nasty yesterday when I said I was going to come out here and film. And lo and behold, it got worse as the afternoon went along. So I ended up not filming yesterday afternoon like I had intended. It was my hope, but hey, you know, I'm working on some stuff where maybe I can create some kind of indoor filming space in the house for when I get bad weather days and things like that. We shall see. Fingers are crossed with it. Twyla's got some great ideas, so we're going to see about, you know, maybe fixing up a space in there where when it's nasty out, I can film inside. I still prefer to film outside. I just like it better. I'm in a different position today because I'm trying to get my burn pile going and I can keep an eye on it while I'm filming a session here. So without further ado, because I don't really have a whole lot as far as the monologue goes this week, guys. The birds are singing. it's been a crazy week, like always, just a different kind of crazy now. Even in layoff land, I'm doing more than I was seemingly when I had a job. So it's ridiculous. It's crazy. I'm constantly busy, but it's in a good way. I'm getting things done. So rock on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's subject. So with that, we are live in 3, 2, 1. Let's jam.